The Eddie Gallagher case has become a glaring example of how military justice, politics, and presidential intervention can collide with messy consequences. What should have been a straightforward application of military law spiraled into a national spectacle, culminating in the ousting of Navy Secretary Richard Spencer. The fallout wasn't just a bureaucratic reshuffle, it exposed deep cracks in how the military justice system interacts with civilian oversight, and how unorthodox leadership can upend traditions that have long kept the armed forces disciplined and effective. The most important thing about this is that this isn't simply about one Navy SEAL accused of wrongdoing. It's about the clash between the military's need for order, discipline, and due process, and the political winds swirling around the commander-in-chief, who, in this case, acted on impulse rather than protocol. The Gallagher case exposed a string of red flags, from prosecutorial mishandling to a president's premature and public intervention, issues that have yet to be resolved and threaten to repeat in future cases unless the military and civilian leadership learn hard lessons here. To understand the full scope, we need to start at the foundation of the American military system. The U.S. Constitution places the president as commander-in-chief, emphasizing civilian control of the military as a bedrock democratic principle. The Secretary of Defense operates as the top civilian official managing day-to-day military operations, maintaining a critical link between elected leadership and the armed forces. In times of war, this civilian-military partnership is essential to keep forces combat-ready and mission-focused, all while upholding the laws and values that distinguish the U.S. military from any other. Military justice itself is a unique institution designed not just to punish, but to serve the mission of national defense. Unlike civilian courts, military law exists to maintain order, discipline, and effectiveness among troops facing the chaos of combat. It's structured so commanders can enforce standards while following legal frameworks agreed upon internationally, ensuring the horrors of war are not compounded by unlawful conduct from their own ranks. Historically, breaches of law or discipline by service members have been rare, and when they occur, investigations and trials follow strict procedures intended to be fair, thorough, and respectful of due process. Typically, cases that draw public attention remain within the military justice system, proceeding methodically through courts-martial, appeals, and administrative reviews. The president rarely intervenes, and when he or she does, it's usually after the process has concluded, preserving confidence in the system and sending a message that discipline and order remain paramount. This tradition helps maintain trust in the military and civilian leadership alike. Enter Eddie Gallagher. A decorated Navy SEAL with 8 combat deployments, Gallagher was accused in 2017 of a laundry list of serious offenses, including premeditated murder, assault, drug use, obstructing justice, and improperly posing with the corpse of an ISIS fighter. The charges were grave, but by the time the case moved to trial a year later, critical evidence had faded and prosecutorial missteps surfaced. The original lead prosecutor was dismissed for unethical conduct, forcing a junior attorney to pick up the pieces. The trial itself became a spectacle. Key prosecution witness Corey Scott, granted immunity for his testimony, contradicted the government's narrative by admitting he killed the ISIS prisoner as an act of mercy, something Gallagher was charged with but denied doing. The jury acquitted Gallagher of all major charges except the one related to posing with the corpse, for which he received a minor sentence that effectively ended with time served. Yet the cloud of controversy lingered, exacerbated by an aggressive media campaign from Gallagher's defense, political interference, and growing public attention. Normally, a sailor convicted at court-martial would face an administrative discharge board to determine if they should remain in service. But this was no ordinary case. With media frenzy and political stakes high, Navy leadership opted for a Trident Review Board, a panel of fellow SEALs tasked with deciding whether Gallagher's conduct warranted stripping him of his SEAL Trident badge, the symbol of their elite status. Such boards have removed tridents before, maintaining the integrity of the SEAL community. The White House got involved before the board could act. President Trump publicly tweeted that Gallagher should keep his trident and ordered the Navy to stop the review, bypassing the usual process and denying the SEAL community a say in the matter. This unprecedented move exposed Trump's impulsive leadership style, quick decisions made on political instincts, rather than following established military procedure. Some saw Trump's intervention as a breath of fresh air, a leader who took decisive action rather than letting bureaucratic red tape drag on. Others viewed it as reckless, undermining the military justice system and setting a dangerous precedent. Regardless of perspective, the effect was clear. The military's chain of command was sidelined, discipline compromised, and Navy Secretary Richard Spencer caught in the middle. Spencer, a former Marine who valued order and process, tried to find a middle ground. Reports revealed he struck a side deal with the White House, allowing Gallagher to retire with his trident if Trump stayed out of the case. But this secret pact contradicted the normal review procedure and raised alarm bells within the Defense Department. Secretary of Defense Mark Esper, left in the dark, pushed back, leading to Spencer's firing. This tangled saga wasn't without historical echoes. President Obama's commutation of Chelsea Manning's sentence for leaking classified documents was controversial, but followed the military justice process through to its conclusion before acting. In contrast, Trump's swift interference in Gallagher's case broke with precedent and complicated the military's ability to self-govern discipline. Gallagher isn't Manning. He was not convicted of war crimes. His conviction was limited to posing with a corpse, a serious but lesser offense. Yet the way the case was handled, from prosecutorial errors to presidential tweets, has sparked debate over the balance between justice, order, and political influence in military affairs. Military justice should be respected, even when imperfect, as it safeguards not only individual rights, but the collective discipline essential to military effectiveness. When commanders and judges uphold standards fairly, service members understand the rules they must follow, especially in the fog of war. Presidential pardons or interventions, when misapplied, risk eroding that trust and encouraging lawlessness or politicization within the ranks. The Gallagher episode is a cautionary tale. It demonstrates that maintaining good order and discipline requires patience, adherence to procedure, and respect for the military's unique justice system. Executive leniency, when warranted, should come after due process concludes, not before. It must be guided by sober judgment, free from political expediency. The military justice system is not perfect, but it has proven remarkably resilient and just over time. It balances the harsh realities of combat with American legal values, and it sustains the military's effectiveness by enforcing conduct that honors both mission and morality. To undermine this system is to risk the very fabric that holds the armed forces together. As the dust settles on the Gallagher case, it should serve as a wake-up call. Military leaders, civilian officials, and presidents alike must recommit to processes that preserve discipline without sacrificing fairness. The price of failure isn't just one man's career or reputation. It's the integrity and readiness of the entire military force. Ultimately, the question remains, will the lessons from Gallagher's case lead to reforms that prevent future fiascos, or will similar breakdowns repeat under pressure from politics and personalities? For the good of the armed forces and the nation, one hopes it's the former. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments down below.